Hello, my name is Robert Peters, and I'm the Chief Academic Officer of NDPC. If any of you don't know what NDPC means, it's the National Dropout Prevention Center. And we have been working with at-risk children for about the last, 30 years, since 1986. As a matter of fact, we've worked with at-risk children long enough to know that all children are at risk. No matter if you're a gifted student, no matter if you special ed, ESL, if you are not having any problems at this time, or whether you're just coming into a school, all students are at-risk students, right? And as a parent, I know particularly, I've got a gifted student and I've got a autistic student. My son is autistic and my baby girl is gifted. And what I see is, as a gifted student, she always wants to be perfect in everything she does. Does anybody know any children like that? They want to be perfect in everything that they do. And sometimes when she fails, man, she's like, she wants to give it up, right? Think about how many gifted students we have out there that want to be perfect in everything. And when they fail, it's real hard for them to just dust themselves off and jump back in the game. Those students are just as at risk as my autistic son, that it takes a little while for him to get things, right? Think of how children feel, whether you have a child like this or you're in the classroom or school, where you got children that can look all around and they can see everyone getting a concept and they don't get that concept. So at NDPC, we understand that all children, whether you're gifted, no matter what handicap and condition you have, no matter where you are in school, whether you're in high school or whether you're beginning school, you are at risk. And what we do is, what makes us a little bit different than others, is that we focus on at-risk children. Another thing that makes us different than other organizations and what we do is we work with some of the best educators across the country. We build cohorts, we give out resources, and we really want to work with you. We want you to access that link because we really want to connect you with other educators across the country that are doing amazing things. We also want to get you our resources, okay? We do understanding in this evolving pandemic, this is a time where people are just as disconnected as ever. We're seeing percentages of teachers leaving the field. We're seeing high percentages of leaders leading the field. And what we want to do is we want to take everyone where you are, whether you're isolated, whether you're in an urban community, whether you're in a rural community, and we want to make cohorts. We want to bring folks together to really talk about strategies. If you've got some great strategies that you're doing, you want to be a district that's connected with other districts, go ahead and access that link that you see down there, right? Access that link. Come talk to us about some future focus strategies that we're doing. So we not only work with students, we also work with thousands of schools, hundreds of thousands of teachers and students. And lastly, folks, when it comes to NDPC, we're all about resources. We're all about serving our community with those resources. And as Robert Peters, the Chief Academic Officer of NDPC, folks, we want to get you the resources that you need. So if you've thought about it 5 minutes, you've thought about it too long. Reach out to us. Let us know what you're going through. Let us know what you need. And we want to provide you with a cohort as well as resource. One resource I want to leave you with, right? I was reading this article, and it was, I always like to read articles about what goes on in our country, but I also like to read articles of what's going on like in our world, because education is not necessarily just stateside. Education is across the world. And Luciana, her name is Luciano Constantino. She wrote an article about mental health and grade repetition in Brazil. And what she talked about was how children that had mental health issues and problems, how that was directly connected to grade repetition. And then they begin to get a little bit slice that pie a little smaller to find out really fear and anxiety had a lot to do with children just checking out, right? Whether those children were gifted children, whether those children were doing great or not so great in school, that fear and anxiety, specifically in girls, that we found out, because Luciana really talked about girls, of how that fear and anxiety gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It connects itself to depression, and children just don't want to go to school anymore. Think about that. There are high school children that have high levels of fear and anxiety, and they don't want to go to school anymore. And one of the biggest travesties I've seen is when a 5-year-old baby that just got to school says, I don't like school. I don't like school. And that's where that fear and anxiety comes from. It goes into depression, and then children get disconnected. They get behind, and then they have to repeat grades. And we know that the more children repeat grades, the more that they're going to get disconnected and could possibly drop out, right? Luciana also provides some great strategies on how we can really begin to get an understanding of where children are as far as fear and anxiety, and provide some instruments and some things that if you click on that link, we can actually provide you with that article. If you've got a great strategy with children that helps them with fear and anxiety, let us know. We like to share that across the country with other educators, and we like to get you connected with other educators. If you need additional resources on challenges, the mental challenges and fear and anxiety, and the effects of that, click on that link and we can get you actual articles. And please, on March 9th, just in a couple of weeks, we're going to be having a panel. This panel is going to be called Reignite and Re-engage Your Passion. And we're going to be talking about how educators can reignite that passion, because we see, just like children have a level of fear and anxiety, educators have a level of fear and anxiety, and they are disconnecting from education at higher rates than children are. And we're going to be talking about strategies from a grown-ups side that we can reconnect. And some of those same strategies translate to children in the classroom. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. My favorite quote, and I always say this at the end of every video, it's by Luciano de Crescenzo, and it says, we are each of us angels with only one wing, and we can only fly by embracing one another. So at NDPC, folks, we want to embrace all children. We want to embrace all children, all students, and all teachers, and all leaders, and all schools. And we want you to be a part of this journey. So every week, I'm going to be sending you a video. One video I might be sending you from tennis practice. One video might be from the carpool line, right? But let's talk education. Have a great morning, have a great evening, have a great afternoon, depending on when you are actually looking at this video. And I'm looking forward to this journey. Bye-bye.